there is a book in this wonderful electronic age that I have downloaded onto my terribly clever little mobile phone. And the book is called Moonbeams. Aha, you might think. It's a book about you. No, if only. No, it's not. It's much more of an exciting tale than that. And joining me this evening to tell us all about the book, and indeed the incredibly interesting saga of how the book finally got published, is the author. And I'm joined by the author, who is a local lad, Burton in Kendal area.
Burton in Kendal, that's correct.
You have told me that this book has been brewing in the thought department for around how long?
30 years.
Oh, that's not long then, that's fairly recent, isn't it? 30 years.
30 years ago it came to me, this idea.
My goodness. And now at long last you suddenly, I mean, okay, I have to ask you, why has it taken so long?
Well, life just wasn't conducive to book writing. And in those 30 years I've rewritten it 4 or 5 times from scratch.
That's quite difficult doing that kind of a rewrite, because, a lot of people sort of get a germ of an idea, and then, yes, you work up the characters, or you might change the plot slightly, but completely to rewrite it 5 times, that's going some. Why did you do that?
Well, because I went from different computers, the format between the different computers wasn't compatible. So I had to do it all from scratch each time. But the plot and the whole story never left me.
Right.
It was still there, and each time I rewrote it, it was the same story, obviously expanded each time. But yes, it wanted to be published, this book.
Definitely.
Yeah.
To have an idea all those years ago and to hang on to it, you must really have believed in it. How difficult was it? Because we all say, don't we? Oh, if I could write a book, and etc., etc. And the number of books that I've potentially written would probably fill the National Library. But A, we never get around to doing it, and B, they say it's one of the hardest things in the world to actually get your book published. So, how hard did you have to try to get your book published?
Well, I didn't have to try very hard at all, because I've done it myself.
Aha.
It's DIY publishing through Amazon, through a service called Kindle Direct Publishing.
Okay.
You sign up for it yourself, it's totally free.
Right.
You download the necessary programs to create the Kindle book. There's lots of help on how to format it, and basically just work through it. And you convert your original Word documents into a Kindle book.
That is absolutely fascinating. So, really, it's very clever marketing by Kindle. Everybody knows these electronic books. I've got one. I've got a different format, but, electronic books allow you in one small, computer screen effect to carry around 2,400 books or something like that. But that is a very clever idea.
Got a physical book too.
Aha.
Right, because with this Kindle Direct Publishing, they also have an option to put it through what they call Create Space, which is a physical book which they print on demand.
Good heavens.
Yeah, so you can go onto the Amazon website, on the Amazon.com website, and on there you'll see a link for the paperback version of my book.
Which of course we must mention the cover, Barry. If we didn't, we'd be in big trouble.
We are, definitely, and the cover was done by my nearest and dearest. She was very
creative.
Creative, that's the word, very creative.
I can see a miniature version of it, I can't see a full-size version, obviously.
When you see the full-size thing, the actual physical book, because I got the proof copy about a week ago, it's actually thrilling to actually see.
Oh, I can imagine.
Your little baby in print.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, that's the sort of the technology done, and I think this is just, for all those people out there now who are sort of thinking, oh, that's it, I'm going to write my book and I'll publish it myself. I just think it's the best idea since sliced bread. But, I think it is an exciting development, but for someone to have had this idea in their head for 30 years, and then to actually not only see it published in effect, see it electronically, but as you say, have the ability to have a real book printed up and sent off to you as well. I mean, that must be the most thrilling thing ever.
It certainly is. And it's not a small book. It's 91,000 words. So 320 odd pages, something like in a paperback. So.
Well, I must admit, one of the things you can do through the website is you can download what they call a sample, and normally a sample is maybe the first 3 or 4 pages. And I was getting a bit concerned at one point because the sample of yours ran to 5 chapters, and I sort of thought, hang on a minute, this can't be right. But if now, having told me the length of the book, I can understand why they would allow you to download 5 chapters, because it really gets you hooked into the story.
That's the idea, I think, is that you read the first 4 or 5 chapters or whatever, and then you know whether or not you are interested enough to buy the book, or you want to know where the plot goes, so you have to buy the book. Yeah.
Well, I think it's brilliant. Well, okay, we've covered the technology, we've covered how you've done it. Now let's talk about the book. And I have to admit, I read in the sample, I read the first few pages and thought, hang on a minute here, these are not normal British words. And I sort of read and go, aha, I've got it now.
It's quite a convoluted plot.
Well, it certainly appears to be. It's sort of a little bit I read it, across between Logan's Run and Maigret. I mean, it's it's an interesting concept. Tell us a little bit about the story.
Yes, it's basically it's a story of 2 planets in the same universe, same galaxy rather, which is our galaxy. One of the planets is Earth, and both of them set out to create a galactic empire.
Okay.
But they both do it in their own particular way, and the fates are intertwined. They interact with each other in an unusual way, not a direct way. So the plot is quite convoluted. There's 2 parallel storylines running at the same time, and it's not until the final chapter that it all comes together.
Ooh, keep you on the edge of your seat, John, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Well, that's the idea of it. Until you get to the very last chapter, you don't really know what's been happening.
Right.
Get the clues all the way along, and each civilization follows their own path, which you do during when you read the book. And it's only when you get towards the end you realise what's been happening, or how these 2 civilizations interact with each other.
Right. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's. I love things like that because they really, as you say, they keep you grabbed right up until the very last moment.
Yes. Well, I've had 1 review so far. Sold 12 books, by the way.
Wow, really well done.
I know. I've quite a dozen books sold in the first month. That's not too bad.
That's pretty good.
But the first review she said it was she couldn't put the book down basically.
What?
And she had to go and read it right the way to the end to find out how all these things came together.
How fantastic. Oh, that's brilliant, Barry. I'm so thrilled for you because it's, as I say, it's one of those things that we all talk about doing, but someone who's actually done it and gone ahead and I should hasten to add that this is a really, it's a very economical way of actually building a library as well, because your book is incredible. Well, certainly the electronic version is incredibly reasonable. Tell everybody how much they have to part with to read it.
£1 and 1 penny.
Well, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's what I call a good value if it's 90,000 words. Oh, I'm just so excited for you. I really am. I think it's just the best, most exciting thing in the world. So why is it called Moonbeams then? You didn't call it after me, much as though I'd like to think I did.
No, Moonbeams is relevant to the plot. And when you read the book, you understand why it's called Moonbeams.
Okay.
Until you've actually read the book, you don't actually
It doesn't become clear.
Exactly. It becomes clear why Moonbeams is so relevant to the plot.
Right. Oh, now then. Well, that's it now. I'm going to have to, never mind the sample, I'm going to have to download the entire book and read it. It sounds absolutely fascinating. And as I say, I'm thrilled to bits for you. But the one obvious question I have to ask you, Barry, is, having taken 30-odd years to do this one, you know what I'm going to ask you, don't you?
I know what you're going to ask me.
Yeah, will it take you that long to do the next one? And is there going to be a next one?
There is going to be the next one. It's underway as I speak.
Wow.
When I got this book idea in my head, for 30 years it wouldn't leave me. Now I've got it published, the next one's popped up.
Excellent. Excellent. Oh no, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that's just the way that the brain works, I suppose. So the idea came to me, and in fact, in the middle of the night, the idea came to me. I could not go to sleep. I came down, found the computer, and wrote the first chapter.
Wow. Oh, well, that's how they do it. I mean, you know, all the best authors do it. Yeah. And it's a very particular genre, isn't it? I mean, I know my other half is mad keen on this sort of thing. When I sort of started reading the synopsis of it and then the sort of sample chapters, and I said to him, oh, you're going to love this, because he's really into all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, once you develop a following in the field of people who do go for these sort of science fiction, sort of fantasy or fact, once you get a name within that field, you will have hundreds of thousands of people following your books.
Hopefully, and that is the idea in the long run, of course. But science fiction is a very wide genre.
Yes, yeah, it is.
And I'm not into the alien shooting bug-eyed monster variety.
No. And it's a clever plot whether you enjoy science fiction or not. Yeah. I mean, as you say, I mean, it doesn't. It's a bit like the, I'm trying to think of that film where was it Spinning Doors or something, or Opening Doors, where there were two parallel lines running at the same time. Very clever film, with Gwyneth Paltrow, I think it was. But yes, it's something, even if you're not into that particular genre of books, then you would still find the plot fascinating.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call it pure sci-fi in that respect.
Right.
There's more to it than that.
Yeah. Just remind us again what the book is called and how people can track it down on Amazon.
It's called Moonbeams, and if you go to the amazon.co.uk website and put Moonbeams into the search under the Kindle store, it'll pop up as the first book.
Excellent.
On the list, and it's got a dark blue colour, you can't really miss it.
With a big moon on it.
With a big moon on it.
Exactly. Yeah. Excellent. Oh, Barry, I'm thrilled to bits, and do let us keep in touch and let us know how you get on with it. And for those people who are, and I say that people have to part with the princely sum of £1.01 if they download it electronically. What about if they want a real book?
The real book it's $9.99.
Right.
Works out about £6.70 plus delivery.
I'm so thrilled for you, Barry. And for someone, as I say, and what I admire about you is you've held on to the idea for so long, and through all sorts of battles and ups and downs with computers and things, you kept straight on that path, and you have finally got it published, and I think it's just brilliant. I'm delighted for you.
Thank you very much, Sally.
Oh, no, I wish you lots of luck with it anyway, and as I say, do let us know how you get on.
Will do.